Hi everyone, hi our beautiful viewers. Welcome to our third episode. As always, my name is Anita Namubiru, and today we have a very unique topic to talk about. We have learned from the previous topics. We have learned about forms of sexual violence, what is sexual violence in detail, and today we want to talk about the impacts it has on a survivor and a victim. I myself have realized this kind of act, it impacts on someone in two different ways. It can impact you positively or negatively, and it can impact on a survivor herself or a victim herself, and even on the loved ones, because whatever happens to you, it can as well hurt your family members or your friends or your loved ones. And we have, on a survivor, it can be psychological or physical or economically. Actually, it can impact you economically, mentally, among others. I'm not going to talk so much. Let me introduce my colleagues.
Yes.
Subi as usual, and Mr. Brian. So you have been taking us through sexual violence and forms, and today we want to look at the effects, how it impacts on the survivors or victims. And we want to hear from you.
Yes. Thank you so much, Anita. Thank you very much. I just want to also thank our viewers for always staying with us. And a throwback, just last time I remember we talked about a survivor and a victim.
Yeah.
The difference. We know that a survivor is a person who has moved forward from the trauma that happened to him or her, and a victim is a person who is still trying to fight or to go through whatever happened. Yes, you've talked about the impacts. That is, we know that impacts, what happens after this person has been sexually abused, him or her. So we know that some of them have been abused and physical. There's a physical impact where this person is maybe was beaten. If it is a gang rape, maybe you were hit. Yeah. So physically, maybe you come out with a leg that was broken or an arm. And usually, if it is a young child who was sexually abused, this person, the organs are not yet ready for maybe any sexual act, and you find that maybe the uterus or the whole reproductive part was failed. And in future, this child will grow up knowing that I'm not going to be able to have children of my own. I'm not going to be in a relationship, and this thing will affect him or her in the future. Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Now I give the opportunity to Mr. Brian.
Thank you, Anita. Just like my colleague Ruth, when I talk about physical damage, it's really so bad. It's really so bad. Some of the actions that are done in physical, sometimes the other partner or the perpetrator can use some sexual materials. Yeah, and these materials are so bad. I hear some people use tubes. They use different things. So imagine you use a material such as that, big as it is. Yeah.
On a young kid.
On a young kid. Yeah. Be a boy or a girl. Yeah. So the more you use a lot of pressure, a lot of effort. Yeah. This affects this girl's body physically, or even this boy's body physically. So that action of sexual violence is really, really, really so bad physically. You understand? We've heard of some of our fellows who go out. They go out of the country. They go to work. Yeah, because of this action of sexual violence. A boy or a girl wants to run away from the perpetrator, you understand, and then they're thrown down from a very long flat, you understand. So they're put down and their body can be broken. They can break their bones, Yeah.
Okay.
So they are really, really tormented physically.
Yes.
Thank you. We have heard that someone still is being tortured psychologically. There is a way it changes someone psychologically. It cannot leave you the way you have been.
Yes, I think psychologically those are some of the signs that actually a person has been sexually abused. If you don't see any physical damage on the person, but this person will actually show you that their ways, their social behavior has also changed. If it is a child who has been jumping up and down in the house, this child is going to start doing what? Locking him or herself in the room. Is not coming out to play with others. There's a story of a young lady on WhatsApp, a video of a lady. She was a Kenyan, and I think she was in church.
Thank you. We are going to come back right away from there. Let us take just a simple break. We are coming back. Welcome from our short break, and don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel, My Pen, My Inspiration, and even on Facebook. Follow us. Yes, we are going to start from where we stopped, and you were giving us a story.
Yes, I was still talking about an economic, emotional impact,
the psychological part,
who has been who has been sexually abused, and I was still talking about it was on WhatsApp. A video was going around about a Kenyan mother who was talking about how his son, a 9-year-old, was sexually abused and he committed suicide.
Jesus.
And some of the reasons as to why this mother lost his son is because she did not see the signs early. She was not able to see or to find out. By the time she found out what had happened, she realized that my child was behaving this way and that way, and it was not like that before. And that is when she started finding answers to all her questions, but it was too late. Yes, and she was just giving a testimony that her son had been behaving in certain ways she did not understand. He was a well-behaved boy, and only to realize that the boy had been sexually abused from school. They didn't explain how or which kind of, but it was a sexual abuse.
From
this
school.
Boy committed suicide on their veranda at home. He hanged himself.
A 9-year-old.
Yes. Because, so I was just talking about some of the signs that as parents we should look out for.
We should recognize.
This boy you know your child from the beginning. He was well behaved and now he's acting strange, And as parents we are all more concerned about making money than actually thinking about the emotions of our children.
Neglecting our roles.
And especially boys. Parents out there think that girls are more vulnerable. They are more being sexually abused. Let me look out for my daughter. You're busy looking out for
They
your
pay much
daughter,
attention.
But your son is doing what?
They pay much attention on the girls, then they neglect the boys. The boy child is being left out.
Yes,
that is something that if you're a parent out there and you're watching us, at least, please, you have gotten some information. You tend to neglect your roles as a parent. You tend to be too busy. But then no, your work is your responsibility, but then you have a bigger responsibility at home. That is your child, whether it's a boy or a girl. Just know that sexual act is always being exerted on two parties, a boy and a girl. Thank you so much, Mr. Brian. Sorry, Mr. Brian.
Yes, please.
Do you have to say to us?
I will briefly talk about the economic implications.
How? Economic?
As the rest are bad, the psychological part of it, the physical, this is how bad also economical is. Actually, in the current situation, it might be even worse. Imagine of a situation where your daughter, your boy, has been abused sexually, and you have to go through the law. There is a lot of file you have to file up.
Okay.
All this has to be paid for. Do you understand? Your daughter or your son, or even a man, or even your wife or husband, has been abused sexually, and they've gotten some problem with their body. and then you have to take them to the hospital.
And yes, of course, we have heard, before you do anything, like if your child is being reported, that your child report that she has been raped, or a boy, the first thing you have to do is to rush her to the nearest health center for some checkup.
Exactly.
But of course, yeah,
And
it calls for
there's
money.
no way you can do checkup without paying money in the hospital. Yeah. Sometimes you even have to go to the police to report. And you can't just report without paying some money.
To open up a file.
To open up a file, you have to pay. Not only do you stop in the small clinics in case the problem is too big, this is why you have to go to higher, bigger hospitals, dispensaries to treat the case. And the costs in the bigger hospitals, the costs are always high. So really, this is something that is so bad.
I think I just imagine before you're this kind of a poor parent who is always working for a daily bread, and then your child has been raped, and now it did not only end up at being raped, but then she also get HIV. Now just know the cost you have now incurred for the rest of your life, because you have to feed her daily, make sure that she eats very well before she takes medicine. Seriously. And even at some point you're going even to hire counselors, I think, because this is something new, that it is unusual. This is not something you have been used to. It is going to take a lot of time, I think.
It's really something so expensive. Let's say even if medicine for HIV is given for free, you have to put in transport to go and pick now and again. You have to pay for food because you can't take tabs for HIV and you're not eating. So it's really costly to look after somebody who has been sexually abused.
Okay, thank you for that wonderful information.
Yes, I also wanted to bring up the impact of health. When Mr. Brian talked about HIV and going to pick that medication, I think that if a person has been sexually abused, there are chances that you may get infected. You may get pregnant if you're a girl, or you may get HIV if you're a girl or boy. So there are so many ways a person can actually prevent those issues. If you report early, for the economic impact, if you go early and report your case, this child will be given maybe some medication to suppress that infection, or you may also be given some medication to avoid the pregnancy. That is if you go early. Yes. So apart from health-wise, this is a lifetime, and it will still also affect you emotionally. So add on to being raped or defiled, you add on to a disease that is not cured.
To double torture.
Yes. In that luck, maybe there is also there are so many diseases you can acquire within that process. Infections.
STDs.
If this person also has corona, you will also get.
Nowadays actually we are in the era of corona.
You will also get it. So there are so many things that can come up in that. If it is, for example, gang or not, and this person has apart from raping you, has also hit you, has hit your body.
Imagine maybe there is this case, I've had cases where a girl is being raped in a gang, and then afterwards, there are these awful acts that men do, or these men do. After raping you, they even bring these sticks, and then they insert those sticks in your private parts. Now imagine the pain. Imagine the pain you go through. It cannot leave you the way you have been. Seriously, you're going to have damages. Sometimes even they end up removing your cervix out, and then for the rest of your life you'll never give birth. Hey.
And Anita, really sexual violence is something bad. That's why we appeal to each and every one, our viewers. You have to be so careful. It's not only a problem to the victim, but it becomes a problem to the loved ones. Imagine this boy or girl is in this family, or this is your husband or wife, don't think that the only ones who are affected. You're also affected because, one, you're going to be isolated. How? Yeah? If your daughter is raped, people in a society will start backbiting. They'll talk against like that family.
Even if it is a father who raped
For
a certain person,
exactly.
they will keep
If it is a
But they will say family y'abakwasi bakwata abaana
ata oyo omwana.
takwata omwana.
So it's really a problem to the loved ones. It is also a problem in this way that the loved ones are the ones to pay for the costs of the victim. You know, so it's to all of us to be careful, to be responsible for each other. This is something we should fight. This is something we should stop. Men and women, boys and girls, we have to be a voice out there.
Yes.
Don't stay in pain. You
A
understand?
man or woman.
Yeah.
Before you do something, think
Yeah.
twice. Before you do something, think twice. What are you going to benefit from it? What is going to happen to you? And that child or person that you're going to do to them. You're a human being like them. You're not different from the person you are harming. Yeah? So before a man or woman, before we do anything, it doesn't just have to be about sexual abuse. But whatever it is that you know is going to hurt this person, think twice.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing with us. And I thank everyone, our viewers who are watching us. Thank you for not getting tired of us. And please don't get tired of us. Always subscribe to our channels, My Pain, My Inspiration on YouTube. Even on Facebook, My Pain, My Inspiration. We are already there. And as you have heard, they have actually exhausted it. They have brought it very well. That the act doesn't just end on being abused or sexual abuse, but it has some impact that it adds on your life, and it changes you. It changes your life. You're not going to remain the same way you have been, and it is a call to the parents, it is a call to the community to always watch your child, to always be a friend to your child and know. Because as she was saying, that a child can be tormented psychologically, and it is always the child tries to communicate, to communicate to you that I'm going through something, but because you're too busy and you don't have a relationship with your child, you end up not noticing it until until you lose your child. That's when you start to flash back what the child has been actually showing you. So please, parents, pay close attention to your child. Thank you so much, and see you next time on our 4th episode.